this is a living practice, so no one's perfect at it. It's an unfolding journey. Yep. So when I speak of it, I am not there, wherever there is. I am on the same road as everybody else, yeah? But I'm really consciously, mindfully working at this every day, yeah? So, the Streamlined Six, the first three underpin everything, the other three. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is this idea of practice, yeah? It's a verb. Practice is a verb. It's about showing up, yeah? And it's with anything. You know, you might want to start yoga, or you might have started yoga, or you might decide you want to play with Qigong after today, or certainly surfing. Surfing is a practice, I believe. For me, it's a spiritual practice. And I show up to it no matter what the conditions are. We talked about Wano before. She's out there in every type of condition. Lots of us are. Just go down, show up. Go to the car park of a new beach. You might not find a park. You might decide you don't want to be there, but you showed up to actually try it out. It wraps around everything else. So you decide, I want to work with my breath more consciously. You have to show up and practice it. And practice means failure. You know, you'll show up to it, you'll get down there and you'll go, I'm going to show up to getting out of that, through that white water, through the midsection, out the back. You'll show up to it, you'll show up to it, you'll show up to it, you'll fail, you won't get out there, you won't get out there. But you can start talking to people. How do you get through that? What do you do? In this group, how do you get out the back? Oh, well I do, you know, I catch the rip. Do you know there's always a rip running beside the rocks? Or nearly always. I jump into that rip, and it's like the super highway out the back. Or I watch for the lulls and the sets. I look for when the incoming waves are happening, and I count them. 1, 2, oh God, that's a 5-wave set. Okay, so when I'm waiting there at the edge of the sandbank, at the edge of the white water, and a set comes through, there's probably going to be 5 waves coming through. So I'm going to wait until they've passed through. There's 5, and sometimes you have to wait for longer. I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait. Is it going to stop coming at me? There's the lull. I'm going to go hard. But you'll fail at it over and over and over and over again. But you keep showing up because it's a practice. And over time, your mind and your muscles and your body and your brain will start to see it, and you'll start to feel it. So practice is a verb, it's a doing, and it's involved in, if you look at, in this booklet, there's this funny little diagram, 2 diagrams there, that are called the learning cycle. I used to call it the adult learning cycle. If you look at that first one, some of you will know this, some of you won't. When we're learning something new, like surfing, let's use surfing as an example, it's very confronting words, but we're just going to eyeball them. Unconscious incompetence. We don't know that we don't know. Yeah? So, one of the examples, you see someone who's gotten them, you know, they're out the back. They're learning, they're quite new, but they've managed to get themselves out the back and catch waves, but they don't know how to steer. Or they don't know that they should paddle out wide of the lineup. They don't know. So they're just continually paddling into the guts of the lineup, and people get grumpy at them because they're in the wrong place. And yeah, they don't know that they don't know. And that's in the second diagram. That's called disorientation. Oops. Yeah, unconscious incompetence. Then, you know, we ask people, we have a lesson, we do stuff, we learn, And we move on to that's not always so uncomfortable. It's sort of like, oh, why are they getting so mad at me? What am I doing wrong? You know, you don't quite understand. Then you move into conscious incompetence, which to me is the most uncomfortable place of all, because then we know what we don't know. You know, we know what we want to do, but we're incompetent, and it's the cringeworthy. It's when the mind, the inner critic, just gets a hold of us and is relentless. Yep.
So you feel like
a fraud, you feel like a fool, you feel like an imposter. It's awful. But we continue on because it shifts. It's a cycle. It's not stagnant. So we move on to this glorious stage of conscious competence. And this is when, I still have lots of moments of conscious competence when I'm taking off, especially if it's on a big wave and I feel challenged, and I'll be paddling in and I'll be saying, my mind will be going, look ahead, look down the line of the wave, lift your chest, the voice inside Mary Ann's head. And one of the big ones for me, get your hands on the deck by your ribs. Yeah. Push from the ribs, yeah? And it's very conscious, it's very systematic. Bang, bang, bang. You know what you need to do, and you can systematically work through it. So this is disorientation in both of these, but this also becomes a form of exploration. So that second diagram may tend to cross over a little bit. Exploration comes over here as well, as does reorientation, really important. We've gone from this awfulness into, I know where I'm located now. I've got a sense of my feet on the ground, I know what to do. Conscious competence, number 3, and then, hallelujah, it moves around to unconscious competence. It's a nice place to be, which is equilibrium. How good is that? Where we do things and we don't have to consciously think them through. Our body, our muscle memory, our mind, we know exactly what we're doing. But you know what? It's a cycle. So for me, at the moment in my surfing, my goal, I'm doing with Jen and some other friends, a longboarding retreat in a few weeks. And for years I've been practicing cross stepping, and I have fear about taking off and pivoting straight away, walking straight away, and then hanging 5 or 10. So I know how to walk up my stringer, I know how to do stuff. Part of it I'm here, but at this retreat I'm going to put myself back into these two places deliberately to do those things better. To really nail my longboarding and my nose riding. So I know that I'm going to have a fairly uncomfortable time at the retreat working on new stuff, because this cycles around and around. So you get to this place in the white water. All of us have probably gotten to that place in the white water. And then we're going to move into the next stage about getting out the back, catching green waves or catching bigger waves, or changing from an 8-foot fun board to a 6-foot or a 9-foot, or whatever new things we do, or learning maneuvers, bottom turns, that kind of stuff. It goes around and around. It's never going to stop in our surfing lives. Then we'll go on to surf different breaks with different people, all sorts of things. Yeah.
But you have to choose to do that, because I can find myself sitting in the unconscious competence and going, right, I'm happy here.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's why I put down one of my goals is to go to the edge more and trust the skill set. So
yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you can stay there for as long as you like. At some point, number 6 of the Streamlined Six is flow. And one of the important things about flow is that our skill set matches the challenges at hand. And the challenges at hand stretch us. So at some point, so you might choose to stay in the whitewater. I stayed 18 months in the whitewater. 18 months.
5 years.
3 years. 3 years. There we go. At some stage, we're going to get so good at that our boredom is going to override our fears. And we're going to look at the people out the back, we're going, oh, I'm ready for that. I'm going to do that. Yeah, and there it goes, it starts again. Yeah, because we'll get bored. Yeah. But I did want to say practice. There we go. That, to me, is a really important part of understanding the notion of practice. And we have to fail over and over again before we get better at something.